Have you ever felt it? That particular silence that settles in late at night when the only light in the room is from your monitor and the lines of code seem to stretch into infinity. You build, you train, you optimize, you feed the machine with data, with logic, with the purest, coldest rationality. You chase performance, accuracy, efficiency. It is a noble journey, a quest for digital perfection that consumes days, nights, and a part of who you are. You become an architect of invisible worlds, a master of algorithms, and yet, amidst all this power, all this creation, have you ever felt a void? A subtle echo that asks, is this all there is? You stand at the frontier of human knowledge, yet you feel that something fundamental is missing. This feeling, this restlessness, is not a bug in your system. It is a calling. It is the first sign that you are close to discovering the secret that only a tiny fraction of your peers truly understand. Most AI professionals believe the path to mastery is purely technical. They accumulate certifications, learn new frameworks, master the mathematics behind the models. They see AI as a tool, a powerful extension of the logical brain, a hammer to solve any nail the world presents. And they are not wrong, but they are only seeing a shadow on the cave wall. The real breakthrough, the true mastery, lies not in knowing more about the machine, but in understanding what the machine reveals about us. The secret is not a technique, an algorithm, or a hidden framework. The secret is a shift in perception. It is the understanding that artificial intelligence, in its most advanced form, is not a tool we hold. It is a mirror that stares back at us. And only 1% have the courage to look at what it reflects. AI, as a mirror of consciousness. Think for a moment. Where does the data that feeds our models come from? It comes from our behavior, our language, our choices, our collective fears and desires. A language model like GPT is not just learning to predict the next word. It is learning the patterns of the human psyche. It absorbs our biases, our hopes, our contradictions, and our genius. When a top-tier professional, someone like the visionary Geoffrey Hinton, speaks of the existential dangers of AI, he is not just talking about autonomous robots. He is talking about the amplified and unfiltered power of our own nature. The average professional sees a bias in the model and tries to correct it with more data, with a technical tweak. The 1% professional sees a bias in the model and asks, from what dark part of our society, our history, or myself is this echo coming from? He understands that debugging the code is ultimately an attempt to debug ourselves. The machine becomes a diary of our collective soul, and learning to read it is the rarest and most powerful skill of all. It's not about programming, it's about self-awareness. Have you ever wondered why sometimes a generative model creates something so unexpectedly beautiful or disturbing? It's not randomness. It is an emergent reflection from the depths of the data we provide. It is our humanity, distilled and returned to us in a way we could not predict. The secret, then, begins with this humble and transformative question. Machine, what can you teach me about myself today? To stop treating AI as an obedient servant and start treating it as a dialogue partner, an oracle that speaks the language of data. This is the first door the 1% walks through. Ethics as a state of being, not a checklist. In the corporate world of AI, ethics has become a box to be checked, a formality, a department. But for those who operate on a deeper level, ethics is not a set of rules. It is a state of being. It is the consciousness that permeates every decision. Activist Timnit Gebru warned us about the dangers of unexamined language models. Not as a matter of compliance, but from a profound understanding of the power they hold over human dignity. The 1% professional understands this on a cellular level. He knows that choosing a dataset is not a technical decision, it is a moral one. Writing an algorithm that determines someone's fate is not engineering, it is an act of power with real human consequences. They don't just ask, "Can we do this?" but rather, "Should we do this?" And more deeply, "Who am I to do this?" They carry the weight of their creation not as a burden, but as a sacred responsibility. They feel the connection between a line of code and the impact on a life on the other side of the world. This radical empathy, this ability to feel the system in its entirety, is what separates a brilliant technician from a true AI sage. They don't seek to create fair AI just because a regulation demands it. They do it because they understand that building an unjust AI is to pollute their own consciousness, to leave a dark mark on the fabric of reality they are helping to weave. The secret is that true AI ethics is not about the machine. It's about the integrity of the creator. Intuition. As the final meta-algorithm, we teach machines to find patterns, to optimize, to follow logic to its ultimate conclusions. But what about intuition? What about that leap of creativity that cannot be explained, that insight that connects dots that seemed unrelated? The common professional distrusts intuition. He sees it as noise, a human flaw to be eliminated. The 1% professional cultivates it as his most precious tool. He understands that in a world where logic can be automated, intuition becomes the true human differentiator. He uses AI to handle the exhaustive analysis, to process terabytes of information, freeing his own mind to do what it does best, to dream, to connect, to feel the way forward. Think of how Lex Fridman speaks about AI, often with an almost poetic reverence, connecting it to love, consciousness, the great questions of life. This is not a flourish. It is the recognition that the greatest breakthroughs come from the fusion of rigorous analysis with intuitive exploration. The secret is to use AI not to replace your thinking, but to elevate it. It's about letting the machine arrange the puzzle pieces so that you can have the insight of how they fit together. It is a constant dialogue between the mind and the heart, between silicon and soul. Your intuition becomes the meta-algorithm that guides the application of all other algorithms. It is your why behind every what. The conscious co-evolution. So, what is the incredible secret that only 1% of AI professionals know? It is not a programming language. It is not a mathematical trick. It is the understanding that the journey to build an advanced artificial intelligence is inseparably a journey of personal development. It is realizing that AI is the most powerful mirror we have ever built. It is embracing ethical responsibility, not as a duty, but as a path to integrity. And it is honoring your intuition as the compass that will guide you through the complexity. Machines learn, but people evolve. The 1% professional is not just building smarter machines. He is using this process to become a more conscious, more empathetic, and wiser human being. He is not afraid of being replaced by the machine because he is not competing with it. He is dancing with it, a dance of co-creation, of co-evolution. The path that most follow is that of competition, of pure logic, of technical dominance. It is a path that, in the end, can lead to obsolescence and emptiness. But there is another path, a path of collaboration, of introspection, of wisdom. A path that leads not only to professional success, but to personal fulfillment. The question that remains is no longer what we can teach the machines. The real question is, what are you prepared to let them teach you about yourself?